Hey everybody, this is Harry coming to you from lovely Suwannee County, Florida. And this is my second attempt at a video. Usually I record my videos on the phone and then I just upload them to YouTube. But I used the YouTube recorder and it didn't work. It made the video and then I uploaded it and said it could not be processed. So I couldn't upload yesterday, except for one video which I did my normal way. So I tried to do something different yesterday because my phone was running slow. You can see the video looked like I had a stroke. So anyways, we're here and we're going to talk about 1981, the year that Ian was born. So the Grumpy Old Men decided to do a list videos of favorite films from 1981. Each one of our birth years. So Ian's first because he's the queen of the group, and then James will be next, and then I'm not sure who's after that, me or Jay, and Mike and Bob. Me being born, James was born in 1974. I was born in 1966, and Bob and Mike were both born in 1951. Before widescreen. So I thought I'd start off my list a little bit different. A lot of the group, I have not seen all of Bob's yet, but I guess it was a year, 1981 was a year of horror, and so I'm not a horror fan, so you won't, but maybe you'll only get one horror film in this group list of films. So anyways, the year that Ian was born, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom at that time was Margaret Thatcher. And the U.S. President was Ronald Reagan. He was just elected president, sworn in as president in 1981, to serve his first term. Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister in 1979. She became Prime Minister of England. Also that year, Ronald Reagan was attempted assassination on his life in April of that year. I was in Ireland in 1981 at that time, from June to September of 1981. So I'm not sure what month Ian was born in, but anyways, I was over there either when his mother was carrying or he was born. He was just a baby, so I was the closest of the grumpy old men, the closest of the grumpiest old men to be near him. I was about 218 miles across the Irish Sea from where Ian was born. So anyways, also that year, Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer were married on July 29th, 1981. And also that the year for 1981, the Chariots of Fire won Best Picture for Best Film. And he talked about that in his list video for the birth year, Chariots of Fire. So, also born in 1981, Elijah Wood from the Hobbit movies, not the Hobbit movie, but Lord of the Rings. Justin Timberlake, the singer, sometimes actor. Tom Hiddleston, Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody, Chris Evans, Captain America, and Natalie Portman from the prequels of the Star Wars films, and other things. And then Ian was born. And I believe Ian was born with a Captain Morgan in his hand when he came out. Had rum, was in his bottle, and he was in his nappies. So, Ian, these are the top 10 films that I liked from 1981. I'll start off with number 10, Stripes. Bill Murray movie, Harold Ramis, Warren Oates, John Candy, directed by Ivan Reitman. Funny film. Bill Murray joins the army because he can't get a job, and he was a taxi driver, I believe, in the beginning of the movie. He was a cab driver. Things happen to him and his friend go into the army. They steal a tank, and funny things ensue. John Candy mud wrestles women, So, funny film. You got to watch it. Number 9, Escape from New York. This is, I think, on everybody's list. I watched this again recently, a few months back. Just kind of on a John Carpenter kick a little bit, because I don't own a lot of his movies, so I started purchasing his movies. And Daisuke Bappu did a series of his films, talks about his films, very informative. And Escape from New York was one of them. Stars Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef, Ernest Borgnine, Donald Pleasance, Isaac Hayes, Harry Dean Stanton, and Adrienne Barbeau. And of course, like I said, directed by John Carpenter. Number 8, this one I saw in the movie theater, or at the show, as Bob likes to say. Clash of the Titans. And this was on several people's lists. Saw this back in the day. Harry Hamlin, Laurence Olivier, Maggie Smith. Directed by Desmond Davis. I still like the film. I haven't seen it in a few years. I haven't seen it on Blu-ray at all. But last time I seen it was on TV, and the stop-action animation seems dated. Even for 1981, it was kind of dated. It was kind of funny. I remember me and my friend Kenny was in the movie theater, and we laughed at Medusa because it just looked funny. It didn't. We figured it would freak us out, but it didn't. It was just funny. The only horror movie in the list, number 7, The Funhouse. Cooper Huckabee, Elizabeth Berridge, directed by Tobe Hooper. Sentimental film for me because, well, the only reason why is because there was a fellow who was in this movie who lived with me for a couple of weeks in Fort Lauderdale with me and my first wife. His name was Peter Conrad, with a K, Conrad with a K. He is a dwarf, and he played at the very end of the movie. He didn't play a big role. He kissed like the fat lady in the back of the carriage at the end of the film. But anyways, he was he was an alcoholic. He had a drinking problem, and he was living on the place that he was living at. He got kicked out of because he was a hoarder. So like I remember him being in his car. He drove, and he had he had a special way of driving. His car was set up for him to drive, but there was newspapers in the back seat and all, and you can only sit in one on the front passenger seat. You couldn't get room in the back seat because of that. He also played in a movie called Lenny. He played in Porky's. He also played in a movie called Hot Stuff, and Smokey and the Bandit 3. So we would go to Blockbuster, try to find these movies and rent them and watch it with him, and he would tell us a little bit about the movies, and he told me that Tobe Hooper was an asshole. I remember him telling me that. So, the Funhouse. Number 6, The Cannonball Run. This is a movie I saw in Ireland, in Donegal, in Letterkenny, that year, and with my cousin Anne-Marie. And it stars Burt Reynolds, Roger Moore, Farrah Fawcett, Dom DeLuise, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Adrienne Barbeau. A lot of actors in it. Jamie Farr. And it's a comedy about these guys traveling cross country and the Cannonball Run. Sort of like the Gumball Rally. Funny movie, great memories. That was number 6. Number 5, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, Mel Gibson. Directed by George Miller. We all know that one. Number 4, I had to look this up twice because I remember seeing this in 1982. But it originally came out in 1981, which was Porky's, starring Kim Cattrall and others, directed by Bob Clark. I seen this in New York, when I was visiting at the Toledo Beach Theater, where I used to go to when I was a kid. I used to go see movies there, and I looked up on IMDb, and it was released in 1981 and then re-released in 1982. So I consider it a 1981 movie. That's what all of them are saying. So, Porky's. Number 3, movie I just watched a few months ago, James Bond film called For Your Eyes Only. First time I ever seen it. I liked it. This was Roger Moore, directed by John Glenn. not the astronaut. Number 2 on Golden Pond, Henry Fonda, Jane Fonda, Katharine Hepburn. Great, good film. Henry Fonda's last film. He won an Oscar for that film. And that's probably because he was sick and dying. Henry Fonda's played in so many great movies over the years. Well-deserved Young Mr. Lincoln, I want to say 7 Days in May, the Oxbow Incident. A lot of great films. Once Upon a Time in the West. One of my favorite actors. Grace of Wrath, of course. And then the number 1, which everybody should know, I also saw this at the show. Theater. I like how Bob says the show. The theater, the cinema, the flickers. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. Saw that with my friend Kenny as well. Nothing more to say about that. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Harrison Ford. Great adventure film. You watched it, you never thought. You know, when you go into it, you say, oh, Han Solo is playing in this movie, but you totally forget that it was Han Solo. Indiana Jones is his own character. So, anyways, that was 1981. Ian's birth year. Great year for movies. All around. Horror films. And comedies. And adventure films. And Diana and Charles got married. So anyways, thank you for watching. Comments are welcome. And we'll check out us next week. I think it's 1974, James's birth year, I mean. And we'll have some stuff for you there. Thanks. Bye.